world. Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Truth Conductor Show. Man, we wrapped up a month in Proverbs yesterday, but man, my intuition is telling me to come in and read today's chapter. Okay, so I'm going to follow my intuition. I don't know where it's going to lead me. I don't know why it's leading me this way, but that's what I'm going to do. Bernie, good morning, brother. Thank you for joining me. You're the first one up in here, man. Thank you. All right? And remember, you know, Proverbs is a book in the Bible that has a chapter for every day of the month. Today is the 11th. And make sure. That's right. Today is October the 11th. So we're going to do the 11th chapter of Proverbs. All right, let's pray and get into the word. Father, thank you for another day to be able to gather around your word. Speak through my mind, speak through my lips, and speak through my heart, Lord, so that I may precisely articulate your word to pierce the hearing of your children so that we can live the righteous lifestyle that you have ordained for us to live. All right? And notice, I didn't say perfect lifestyle. I said righteous lifestyle. That you're, oh boy, it's getting ready to get hot up in here. Hold on. I feel that coming on, boy. I feel that heat coming on. Like, man, let me go ahead and jump this. Every time I get into this word, boy, it gets hot up in here. I ain't lying. All right. Chapter 11, verse 1. Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. What's a dishonest scale, man? When somebody's padding that, when they cheating you, when they getting over on you. Listen, dishonest scales charging you more interest than maybe what you should be paying are an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Verse 2, when pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble is wisdom. Listen, verse 2. When pride comes, then comes shame. Let's look up that word pride. Y'all know how I like to do. Man, I don't like to assume that anybody know anything. And I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence, but I just find that it's more helpful to try to give a definition. Pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievements. Pride, a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from one's own achievement. So verse 2, when pride comes, then comes shame. And what you're going to find, a lot of people that is exhibiting this kind of pride that the Bible is talking about don't give God credit for nothing. It's all about them, what they were able to do, what they have been able to achieve. See, what they have been able to accomplish. It's all about them. They don't give credit to nobody else but them. That's your pride. But with the humble is wisdom. Man, let's look up that word humble. Humble. Humble, having or showing a modest, a low estimate of one's own importance. See, when you're humble, you ain't gonna put yourself ahead of nobody. Okay? Edward, what's going on? How you doing? Thank you for joining me. All right? When you're humble, man, you ain't gonna put yourself above nobody. You ain't better than nobody when you're humble. And listen, they say when pride comes, you put yourself above everybody. When your pride comes, because it's all about you. But when pride comes, then comes shame. But with the humble is wisdom. Verse 3, the integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Listen, verse 3, the integrity of the upright will guide. Man, listen. See, it's making sense. Now I understand why you have to be above a situation and not in it. See, when you're above it, you look at it differently. You don't take it personal. It ain't about you. See, when you're above it, but when you're in it, you take it personal. Because it's about you. It's about your inconvenience. See, when you're in it, but when you're above it, man, you can look over the horizon and see, let me tell you something. When you rise above something, that's how your intuition will continue to talk to you. As long as you're in the middle of it, taking it personal, your intuition is being hampered because you got too many voices you listening to. But when you rise above something, see, you calm. You ain't panicking. You ain't placing blame. You can see. Verse 4. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. And you know what? Let me look up that. Let me look up that word one more time so that you can. Righteousness, a quality of being morally right or justifiable. Righteous. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath. Let's look up that word, wrath. Wrath. Extreme anger. Extreme anger. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. Verse 5. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. Listen, the righteousness of the blameless will direct his way aright. Let's see what that word aright means. Let's see what that means. Aright. Correctly. Properly. Listen. The righteousness of the blameless will direct his way correctly, but the wicked will fall by his own wickedness. See, I keep telling y'all, see, that there's a blessing to a righteous lifestyle, even when you're going through something. It's not as harsh as it would be for somebody that was wicked. And you're gonna go through some stuff, man. You're gonna experience some stuff. How you think you gonna build up your faith if you never experience anything? How do you think you gonna build yourself up if you never go through nothing? And unfortunately, you got a lot of quote unquote Christians that think they ain't supposed to go through nothing. See, and that's the operative word. You go through, you don't get bogged down. See, a wicked person can't go through something. They're going to be destroyed. But a righteous person is going to go through something. Okay? They ain't going to get consumed. Verse 6. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their own lust. See, let me read that again. The righteousness of the upright will deliver them, but the unfaithful will be caught by their lust. And you know, when you lusting for something, let's look up that term. Let's look up that word lust. Let's look that word up. Because I don't wanna take for granted that you know what it means. Okay? Lust. Very strong, a very strong desire. It says sexual, but man, you can lust after some things. You can lust after materialism. You see, and that's what got a lot of these young people off track now, because they are lusting after materialism. Because materialism is what defines them, not who they are. See, their righteousness don't define them. Their lust is defined. That's why you see all of these entertainers and these athletes. See, they got to amplify show some materialism as success with the earrings and the necklace and they designer clothes. See, you can lust after those things. Verse 7. When a wicked man dies, his expectation will perish, and the hope of the unjust perishes. Verse 8. The righteous is delivered from trouble. Listen to this, y'all. Listen. Verse 8. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead. See, when trouble comes upon a righteous person, the Bible say, man, the righteous is delivered. You're going to have a way out. See, you're going to see an answer. You're going to find an answer when you live a righteous lifestyle. I don't care what you're going through. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and it comes to the wicked instead. Okay? There you go, man. All right? Verse 9. The hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor. Listen, the hypocrite. Let's look that word up. I ain't assuming you know what that means. Let me look that word up. Hypocrite. A person who can't tell the truth. Hey man, hold on a second. I'm not satisfied with this. I'm not. Let me see something. See, a hypocrite is somebody that talk out of both sides of their mouth. Ain't no truth in them. to whichever way the wind blow, that's the way they're gonna blow. That's a hypocrite. See, you got a lot of hypocrites right now that'll turn around and say they support Palestine. What's going over in Israel with Palestine, with one person, they support Palestine, and then when they get around somebody else, they support Israel. See, hypocrite is unstable in all his ways. A hypocrite is an unstable person. You can't depend on them. You can't trust them. You can't believe them when you run across a hypocrite. Okay? A hypocrite with his mouth destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. Listen, the hypocrite with his mouth, this is verse 9, destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. Through knowledge, when you know something, when somebody can tell you something, when you'll listen to instructions. See, let me go back here. But through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. See, because they ain't taking this personal. See, you got a lot of people that's looking at what's going on in the world and letting them, and it's affecting their day. They totally messed up. And that's a mistake. That's what they want you to do. Get caught up in your emotions so you ain't paying attention. Okay? Verse 10. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. And when the wicked perish, there's jubilation. Listen, when it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. And when the wicked perish, there is jubilation. Verse 11. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Man, you know what? And look at this verse right here. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but it's overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Look over there in Israel. There's that. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. Why is that, true conductor? Because the wicked gonna lie. The wicked gonna cheat. The wicked gonna deceive. And see, and there's a lot of deception right now going over there. And I don't care what you say, it's some deception going on over there in Israel. Okay. Verse 12. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor. Listen to this, y'all. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor. Man, let's look up that word, devoid. 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 Entirely lacking. Entirely lacking. Empty-minded. There you go. There you go. Empty-minded. Listen. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. Listen, y'all. Verse 12. And see, a lot of y'all know some people just like this. He who is devoid of wisdom despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding holds his peace. Why is that? Man, to cut down the confusion, to keep the drama. See, sometimes when you just keep your mouth, you keep peace. when you ain't got to say nothing. Because as long as you feeding that energy, giving it something, it's just going to still keep cutting up. But if you notice, if you just keep quiet, I got a guy right now that it's all about him at the White House, Cody, and he comes up in here. He comes up in here watching my YouTube live, little penis white boy, okay, and he's so intent on disrupting what I do, he had to go and buy a speaker just like mine. He went and bought a speaker just like mine so he can sit it behind me and play his music that he ain't supposed to be playing from the video anyway. But I used to retaliate. And now I notice when he come and he said, as long as I don't say nothing to him, he'll sit there for a minute, but his nervous system is weak. See, after a while, when I ain't feeding into his foolishness, he get tired and he'll put the speaker up. See, that's what he'll do. You welcome, man. You welcome. Okay? Now, verse 13. A talebearer reveals secret, but he who is a faithful spirit conceals the matter. Listen to this, y'all. A talebearer. Let me again. I don't want to assume that you know what that is, so I'm gonna give you a definition. A talebearer is a gossiping person. That's what a talebearer is. Someone who gossips. And you know, and let me tell you, I've been in DC since 1975 was when I came here. And from Alabama. And that was a culture shock. Cause I came from almost all white prejudice environment into an all black. I'm serious. When I first came to DC and I saw all these black folk, I told my mama, I said, you ain't tell me about all this, mama. How come you ain't tell me all these black people was up here? And never left. I mean, because I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. And we were in control of shit. We just didn't know how to do it. Okay? Verse 13. A talebearer reveals secret, but he who is a faithful spirit conceals a matter. See, that's when you can sit on some gossip, that's wisdom. That's maturity. When you hear some gossip, man, and you don't pass it along, you are matured. You have matured. And listen, a talebearer is an insecure, immature person. Let me say that again. A talebearer is an insecure. I almost cussed. They insecure, man. They insecure. They can't be trusted. That's a talebearer. Verse 14. Where they, and see, and let me say this. Because I've had people tell me that I wasn't supposed to use profanity when I'm reading the Bible and all this other stuff. But man, there's sex in the Bible. There's actually, you think I'm lying? Go read the Song of Solomon. You got sex in the Song of Solomon in the Bible. They talking about sex in the Song of Solomon. All right? Verse 13. A talebearer reveals secret, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals the matter. Verse 14. Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Listen, y'all, where there is no counsel, the people fall. See, that's for all you loners that's trying to do it for yourself, by yourself, with yourself. Okay? Because you're afraid that somebody gonna steal your stuff. So you try to do everything by yourself. You ain't trusting nobody. Listen, where there is no counsel, the people fall. And you got people right now that don't want to go to nobody because of their fear. And they try to do everything by themselves. They try to keep everything close to the vest. And that's the mistake you're making, because can't nobody steal your anointing. If you are anointed to do something, can't nobody steal your idea. Because whatever they stole will destroy them. And you worried about it. And you ain't got to worry about it. All you got to do is stay in your righteousness. And you'll be protected. Verse 14. Where there is no counsel, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Because why? Because you're getting different opinions, man. You're just not dependent on your opinion. You're getting some other insight. And you can make a better informed decision when you get some other insights on some stuff. And what's the one thing these young people don't want? They don't want no insight. Oh, that's old school. But it still works. It still works. Verse 15. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer, but one who hates being surety is secure. Listen to this. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. Let's look up that word. See, this is the cosigner. Okay? This is what this is. See, this is all about being responsible for somebody else's obligation. All right? Surety. A person who takes responsibility for another person's undertaking. Listen. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. But one who hates being surety is secure. See, you can't help everybody. Glory to God. Glory to God. You can't help everybody, man. I don't care how much you want to. How much you think it's so. Listen. He who is surety for a stranger will suffer. But one who hates being surety is secure. See, you ain't got that headache. You ain't got that responsibility. You ain't got people looking for you. You ain't got people trying to track you down because somebody else didn't meet their obligation. Verse 16. A gracious woman retain honor, but ruthless men retain riches. Listen, a gracious woman retains honor. Man, let's look up that word gracious. 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 Courteous, kind, and pleasant. That's my wife. That's my wife. Courteous, kind, and pleasant. That's my wife. My wife is a gracious woman. That's why I had to be around, and because people take advantage of my wife because she got a good heart. And listen, a gracious woman retains honor, not a harlot. A gracious woman Okay, not a harlot, but ruthless men retain riches. Let's look up that word ruthless. Ruthless, having or showing no pity or compassion. A gracious woman retains honor, but ruthless men retain, because they don't give a damn. It's all about the bottom line, Phil. They'll put your butt out. They come take your stuff because it's all about the bottom line. They don't care about your emotions, your feeling, what you're going through, what you're experiencing. They don't care. Listen, a gracious woman retains honor, but ruthless men retain riches. Verse 17, the merciful man does good for his own soul, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. Listen, the merciful man does good for his own soul. Let's look up that word merciful. Merciful, showing or exercising compassion and care. Showing or exercising compassion and care. The merciful man does good for his own soul, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. Verse 18, the wicked man does deceptive work. Ho, man, I just helped some of y'all. Listen, the wicked man does deceptive work, but he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward. Man, how many people you done business with and told you one thing and done something different? See, the wicked man does deceptive work. That's the one that can't keep his word. The wicked man, let's look up that definition of deceptive. Okay? So you can see. Deceptive, giving an appearance or impression different from the truth. And listen. Where is that? The wicked man does deceptive work. Look how many people you got right now that's showing you, man, they come out like looking like one thing, and in reality, they somebody else. That's why, let me tell you something, fellas. And you can laugh at this if you want to, but when you find a woman that has to put on a lot of makeup to be herself, that's deception. Let me say that again. Okay? When you find a woman that's got to put on a lot of makeup to be herself, what is that? What? The wicked man does deceptive work. Okay? All right? See, anytime you find somebody that's got to pretend to be something that they ain't, that's deception. I don't care how much you like them. I don't care what you think about them. They are a deceiver. And the Bible say, the wicked man does deceptive work. But he who sows righteousness will have a sure reward. Okay? Verse 19. As righteousness leads to life, So he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. See, you got ain't but two choices that you got, ladies and gentlemen. You either gonna be good or evil. One of the two. Those are the only two choices you got. You either gonna be good or you gonna be evil. And listen, as righteousness leads to life, so he who pursues evil pursues it to his own death. Verse 20. Those who are of a perverse heart are an abomination to the Lord, but the blameless in their ways are his delight. Those who are of a perverse heart are an abomination to the Lord, but the blameless in their way are his delight. Man, don't you know that there are some people right now in Israel that God has directed out of that madness? God done got his people out of there. Let me say that again. Okay, all that destruction that's going over in Israel right now, see, God done got his people out of there on both sides. All of God's people are gone. Okay? They ain't in harm's way. Right now in Israel, the people that are suffering, man, God done got all his people out of there. They gone. They gone. God's people are gone right now. Okay? Verse 21. Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished, but the posterity of the righteous will be delivered. Man, let's look up that word posterity. Let's look up that word posterity. Posterity. Hold on a second here. Posterity. Let me try to get something. Okay, so this is saying succeeding or future generations collectively, posterity. Though they join forces, the wicked will not go unpunished, but the posterity of the righteous, the future. That's what it is. See, succeeding or future generations. Oh, now I get it. See, though they join forces, the wicked gonna be destroyed, but the posterity of the righteous will be delivered. Their future is secure. They gonna be secure. Oh, and listen to this right here, verse 22. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. Listen to this. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, you put a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. Let's look up that term, discretion. Discretion. The quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to causing offense or revealing private information. So, as a ring of gold in a swine's snout, man, if you ever been around some pigs, what you think how you think they find their food in the mud? With their snout. And if you put a ring of gold in a swine's snout, all he gonna do is dig around in the mud with that. Scotland, thank you for joining me, Scotland. And so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion, who can get with anybody. Anybody can have. That's a woman that lacks discretion. Who let me show you. Listen. As a ring of gold in a swine's snout, so is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. When I see this, you know who I see? That little girl, Brittany Reiner. This is as a ring of gold in a swine's snout. So is a lovely woman who lacks discretion. She gonna get around and tell in 24 hours she done slept with 3 different men. See, that's lacking discretion. And if you're special, how come everybody can enjoy you? How can everybody have access to you if you're special? See, if you're special, everybody can't get with you. Everybody can't climb up between your legs, ladies, if you're special. See, when you lack discretion, anybody can get between your legs. When you lack discretion, ladies, because you don't care. All you want to do is satisfy a feeling. And you don't care how or who is satisfying that feeling when you lack discretion. Okay? Verse 23. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. That's anger. Listen, the desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. Verse 24. There is one who scatters, yet increases more. And there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. That's a stingy person. Listen, there is one who scatters, yet increases more. And there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. And see, and let me show you something. See, that person who scatters, hand is just like this. The person that's scattering always got their hand open. See, they can give and receive. But that person that's withholding got a closed fist. And look, it says, and there is one who withholds more than is right, but it leads to poverty. Because what you holding on to eventually is going to run out because you ain't circulating it. You ain't putting it back into the universe. You trying to hold on to it. And this is what I be trying to tell people, even when you're going through something, man, when you're having some challenges in your life, don't never close your heart to giving. When you can help, even if you help out of the little bit you have. And that's how God can trust you, because you're going to help out of the little bit that you have. Okay? You ain't withholding nothing. 25. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. I just told y'all. Listen. The generous soul will be made rich. Let's look up that word generous. Generous. A person showing a readiness to give more of money or time A person showing a readiness to give more of money or time that is strictly necessary or expected. See, when you're generous, you're going to always show kindness to your fellow man. And this is one of the things that probably have stopped us from trusting each other, because we have so many people out here trying to exploit generosity with they sob stories, with they tales, and consequently people don't want to trust nobody because they think they are helping and find out they're being used. Now they ain't gonna trust nobody. Okay? Verse 25. The generous soul will be made rich, and he who waters will also be watered himself. 26. The people will curse him who withholds grain, but blessings will be on the head of him who sells it. See, when you see the people will curse him who withholds grain, see, that's somebody that's trying to get the highest price. See, that's somebody that's trying to milk people, overpricing stuff. All right? But blessing is on the head of him who have a sale. Him who ain't possessive over his stuff. Him who ain't in love with, man, I remember back when I was a street vendor, I just happened to discover I could make jewelry, necklaces, earrings. Just something that I just picked up that I was able to do. And then this time, women were wearing these big old gaudy necklaces. That's what was in style. And I was making my own. Okay? And man, and I was so possessive over my jewelry that if you ain't had the price I wanted, you wasn't getting it. And I'd rather sit on it than give it away. And didn't realize how I was hurting myself. Okay? I'd rather sit on the jewelry than to sell it at a reduced price so that somebody can get out there and show it. And I was hurting myself. Listen, the people will curse him who withhold grains, but blessing will be on the head of him who sells it. Verse 27. He who honestly seeks good finds favor, but trouble will come to him who seeks evil. Verse 28. He who trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like foliage. The Bible say the wealth of the sinners is laid up for the just. There's going to be a wealth transfer, ladies and gentlemen, because the wealth of the sinners is laid up for the just. Who's the just? The people living a righteous lifestyle. God going to cause them to inherit some wealth. And see, and if you notice, all of the wealthy people now, what's they doing? We haven't seen God's wealth in the earth realm. We haven't really seen God's wealth in the earth realm. We haven't seen it. Okay? Because all them jokers, Elon Musk, man, that ain't God's wealth. That ain't God's wealth. We haven't even seen God's wealth yet in the earth realm. Verse 29. He who troubles his own house will inherit the wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart. Listen, he who troubles his own house will inherit the wind. and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart. Okay? Verse 30. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who wins souls is wise. Verse 31. If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner? If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth. Let's look up that word, recompense. Recompense. Make amends to someone for loss or harm. So if the righteous will be compensated on the earth, how much more the ungodly and the sinner? If the righteous is going to be blessed for what they've done in the earth realm, how much more the ungodly, that they going to reap, what they done sowed? Because what you're doing, if you're talking about what goes around comes around, right? This is this verse. You reap what you sow. If the righteous will be recompensed on the earth, paid back, how much more the ungodly and the sinner? And the Bible is telling you that the wicked shall not inherit the earth. Wicked ain't going to even be around. They ain't going to be around. And you got so many people out here with one foot in wickedness and one foot in trying to be righteous. And they straddle the fence, and they think God is listening to them. That God is going to hear them. Man, that's the end of chapter 11. I got up this morning, and for whatever reason, reading that chapter of Proverbs was on my heart to do today. Because yesterday was the month in Proverbs. But my intuition, when I woke up this morning, was saying, read this 11th chapter of Proverbs today. Somebody need to hear this. Okay? And that's what I'm going to take it a day at a time. And if tomorrow I get up and the Lord say, keep reading, I'll keep reading. I'll keep reading. It ain't hurt me because I'm getting some out of it myself. And I can get a chance to see what I'm going through. Right now, how God is dealing with me, I can see it. I told y'all yesterday, man, my car quit on me yesterday. I ain't lying, that joker quit. My car quit on me yesterday. I ain't had no oil in it. And I was going to Walmart to get some oil. And I said, I'm going through the city. I'm not going to get on the highway. The way this car is driving, let me take it through the city. Okay, I'm not going to get out on the highway. And I'm glad I didn't because it broke down. And it broke down about a mile from Walmart. So I got out and I was like, walk to Walmart. And when I got back to my car, I was like, you know what, Lord? I just asked you, let me get my car back to the hotel. Okay, I'm not even worried about going to the White House today. Let me get my car back to the hotel. Put the oil in my car, cranked it up, because before that, it acted like the battery was trying to die on it, everything. Car cranked up just like that. Did my shopping, and at first, I was kind of scared. I said, but you know what? Let me go buy me some hummus. And I left the car running when I went in to get the hummus. And I said, well, I need to get me some kombucha too. So let me stop there. So when I went in the store to get that, I turned the car off. And when I came back, and it fired right back up. I said, now I can go get my loaf of bread and go back to the hotel. And I'm going to go out there. Got a little cycle that it's got to go through. Got to crank it up. Let it do its thing. Cut off. And then I go back out there again, and it's good for the day. Okay? And yesterday, man, I called my daughter. I said, baby, the car done finally, they done conked out on me. She said, well, let me know what you need. I said, okay. And didn't call her back. And she called me last night. Said, what happened? I said, girl, I'm at the hotel. I'm at the hotel. Everything's fine. Everything's fine, man. And this is what I'm trying to show y'all, man. Even when you go through something, rise above it and look at it. Because the minute you in it and you start taking it personal, man, oh man, look, there you go. And see, and I had a temptation to come on me yesterday. There's this place that got these biscuits that are flaky, and they put a layer of honey on top of them, and they flaky as all out, man. And I mean, you can eat you could probably sit down and eat 6 or 8 of them biscuits in a row. They just that good by themselves. You don't need no food with them. And so yesterday, I'm walking by the place, and I had just got some biscuits today. I only try to eat something sweet once a week. Once a week, I try to satisfy myself with some sugar. Okay? Either go get some donuts or something. But the biscuits and the jelly was my sweet for the week. Okay? So yesterday, I'm walking by the place. I said, and see, temptation sitting right here. See, since your car broke down, you might as well go on and get you some more biscuits, because ain't no telling when you're going to be able to get back down here again. Go on in there and get you a couple more of them biscuits. You know you want them. You know, I mean, this is what temptation is telling me. You know you want them. Go get them biscuits, man. And I said, no, let me go in Walmart and get my oil. And when I came out, I said, no, I'm going to pass this temptation up, man. I'm going to put this oil in my car. And lo and behold, my car's still running. And see, and I could have used that as an excuse to fall into temptation. And that's how a lot of people are being tripped up. They're using excuses to justify their temptation. You know, they're using excuses to justify their temptation. That's why they keep falling, because they keep using excuses to justify why they got to go back and hit it one more time. See, you use an excuse why you got to go take me another sip, take me another hit. See, let me go just one more time, baby. Let's hook up one more time, just one more time. That's all I need, just one more time, for good time's sake. See, you always got an excuse to justify sin. But notice, you don't use no excuses to justify being right. You use excuses to justify being wrong. See, that's what a lot of people do, and they don't realize. You use excuses to justify your weakness, man. That's why you can't shake it, because you keep falling for the excuses. And when you stop, then you'll be delivered. All right? Man, I hope somebody got something out of this today. Okay? I can only share. And see, and this is another thing. When some people talking to you, if they don't have the example in their life, and they always got to show you an example on somebody else's life, they just want your money. Let me say that again. See, if somebody can't show you an example that's on their life, what they talking about, they just want your money. See, they telling you, they don't know the mindset of what that other person is doing. They telling you what somebody, you don't know the thought pattern that went into that. But when you use yourself as an example, see, you can talk about, man, this was my thought pattern. And when my car broke down, man, the first thing I wanted to do, damn, feel sorry for myself. And I said, no, I ain't feeling sorry for myself. And here's the crazy part. Left my money in the hotel. I had enough money to buy the oil, but the rest of the money I left in the hotel. And I said, okay, that's it. Because, that's the way it is. Don't take it personal, man. It ain't personal. It's a process. And so many of you are taking adversity personal. You're personalizing it. It's all about you and what you're going through and not the road that you're walking down. And if you really believe, because the Bible say all things are possible to him who believes. And that's where your struggle gonna come in, man, is believing. That's where the struggle is. Because see, if death and life is in the power of the tongue, then if you believe, man, your words have power. When you believe, the Bible say all things are possible to him who believes. All things mean everything is possible if you believe. I hear that. Give them the definition of belief. Believe. To accept something as true. When you accept something as true, you believe it. God, doggone, man. Let me show y'all. Let me show this to you, because I think this is gonna help somebody today. All right. Well, that's true. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. This is Mark chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 19. He answered him and said, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Wait a minute. Let me go back. Verse 17. Then one of the crowd answered and said, Teacher, I brought you my son who has a mute spirit, and wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they couldn't. Okay? Verse 19. He answered him and said, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me. Verse 20. Then they brought him to him, and when he saw him immediately, the spirit convulsed him and fell on the ground and wallowed, foaming at the mouth. Verse 21. So he asked his father, how long has this been happening to him? And he said, from childhood. Verse 22. And often he has thrown him both in the fire and in the water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. Verse 23. Jesus said to him, If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Okay? Listen, Jesus said to him, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. And listen to the Father's response. Verse 24, immediately the father of the child cried out and said with tears, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. And see, and listen, and what did, listen, believe, accepting something is true. When you accept something is true, man, you feel it. You are expecting it. God, dog, glory to God. That's where I've been missing the boat. Man, when you accept something that's true, you start expecting it. And why a lot of us ain't getting manifestations because we don't expect it. We believe it, but there's some doubt. And listen, believe. Accept something as true when you believe. And the Bible say all things are possible to him who believes. And just like the Father said, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief. Help my doubt. Help my insecurity. Because that's what's stopping me from believing. Help my unbelief. And see, a lot of y'all are struggling with unbelief. And it's neutralizing your belief. And when you accept it as true, that's the word of the day for me, for myself. Man, you got to start expecting that. God, dog, you got to start. Man, I believe God is going to deliver me a truck. My mistake has been, I ain't been expecting it. I haven't been expecting it. I haven't been expecting it. I've been asking God for some stuff, but I haven't been expecting it. I believe, but I haven't put an expectation to my belief. That's right. And I'm saying, gotta expect it, man. You gotta start expecting what you believe in God for, regardless to the circumstances you're facing. You got to start expecting what you believe in for, if you believe it's true. Okay? And let the chips fall where they will. Because if God is a God that cannot lie, then, and all things are possible for him who believes, how come you ain't expecting your healing? How come you ain't expecting your financial breakthrough? And I can tell you why, because you're focused on what you're going through. That's why, that's what's hampering your expectation, because you're looking at what you're dealing with. And that has more power than your expectation. And that's why it ain't coming, because you're not expecting it. And go back and look at when you believe something, man. When you accepted it as true, look at your mind and say, could nobody tell you, no, that ain't, forget that. Forget that. You know, and right now, see, let me show you. God, dog, if I was rich and I told you, man, I'm going to give you $10,000 and you know I got the capability to do it, you're going to start expecting that $10,000. Well, how come you can't expect the same from God? It's funny, you can believe man is true, but you can't accept God. You can't believe God as being true, as being able to deliver. You got to start expecting it, man. That's a word for me. See, thank you, Lord. And see, and listen, I told y'all, God told me to read this thing today. And look, I done got a revelation for myself. I done got a revelation for me because I was obedient to read this chapter. And it all comes down to my belief, man. I've been believing, but I ain't been expecting it. That's why I didn't feel short. I haven't been expecting what I'm believing God for. I just been believing, thinking it, but I ain't expecting it. So if I'm not expecting it, how can he deliver? Let me ask that question again. If I'm not expecting the answer, if I'm not expecting what I'm looking for, how can he deliver it when I don't have an expectation for it? It's just that simple. I didn't say this. God said it. All things are possible to him who believes. What do you believe in? And when you believe, you accept it as true. And when you accept it as true, you're expecting it. You're expecting it. You have a sense, you're waiting for it because you're expecting. And a lot of y'all missing the boat because you ain't putting no expectation with your belief. And that's why it's not working. I just answered that for myself. I just figured out what I've been doing wrong. I ain't been putting no expectation with my belief. I haven't, damn, see, I've been so consumed with trying to stay in this room. Man, I ain't putting no expectation, God. Man, God, get me out of here. Give me my own place. I ain't putting no expectation on that. I will today. I will come today and start putting some expectation on some stuff. Man, y'all know there's a solar eclipse Saturday. There's a solar eclipse Saturday. Saturday is the Sabbath. And a lot of people gonna be out at the game, washing their car, shopping, going to the movies, football games, sports, whatever. Okay? And this Saturday, man, is gonna be powerful. There's a ring of fire, an eclipse, Saturday. Okay? So anyway, what you expecting? All right? Let me get out of here, man. I got to get downtown. See you later.